everyone. We're gonna go ahead and go through a more rejuvenating restorative mat class today. This is based on some traditional Pilates, but a lot of it's just going to be movement and getting in touch with our bodies. This is a great session to go through after you've done more of like a high impact or high intensity or strength training workout. Also, it's good to do the day after you've done something really challenging for your body. Maybe you're waking up, you're feeling kind of sore and stiff, and therefore you're a little disconnected. This workout or session is just going to bring everything back into your center so you can really get in tune with your body and know how you need to kind of feed and nurture it throughout the day. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You can stay facing forward. I'm facing sideways so you can just see the subtle movement that we're going to start with. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can absolutely leave them open. But we're just going to sway from front to back, towards the toes, and then back to the heels. Going slow and controlled as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you don't need to overly sway here. It's just enough to really feel those feet having to work to keep you upright. And if you're not feeling much through your body, go ahead, bring your fingertips to each side of your spine. And notice how those rope-like muscles that run along your spine tense and then kind of release based on when you're shifting forward and back. And if there's anything else that you're noticing in your body as you breathe, just kind of take note of it. And now we're going to come what feels like center, and we're going to shift side to side now. And as you do this, you can allow your feet to kind of lift with you. So the outside of one foot, the arch of the other. This might feel really odd if you're not used to doing intrinsic footwork, but our feet do have this little bit of kind of side to side movement naturally in them when we walk, hopefully. So we're just promoting that movement here. And now we're going to make circles, combining both of those movements. So you're going to start to one side, forward, side, and back. And as you do this, allow your feet to shift and rotate and lift based on what feels most natural. You don't have to keep them flat on the floor. You could try that too, just to see how it feels. And then reverse those circles. Still not forgetting to breathe. Hopefully you've been able to keep your eyes closed so you can really become in tune with the most innermost sensations in your body. And then back to center. Bring your hands onto your rib cage. Think of keeping your knees soft, your ribs stacked over your pelvis over your ankles. And just take a few breaths here. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Inhale and exhale. As you breathe in, tongue goes to the roof of your mouth and you feel your ribs expand outward. And as you exhale, you notice how the ribs kind of come in and back to your center. Maybe your shoulders release away from your ears. One more full breath. And then go ahead, open your eyes. Unless you've already had them open, then keep them that way. We're going to go through some movement now. So we're bending the knees and shrugging the shoulders, creating tension. As you exhale, press through your heels, straighten your knees, pull your shoulders away from your ears, kind of lengthen out through your chest. Inhale as you bend and squeeze. Exhale, standing tall, reaching out through the crown of your head. One more like this. Exhale, shoulders down. You might have noticed during that ooh, I've got a little more shoulder tension than I thought. So we're gonna go ahead and target that now. Place one hand on your opposite shoulder. Now, as you lift that shoulder towards your ear, I want you to simultaneously squeeze it with that hand and then totally release the grip and release the shoulder. Lift up and shrug as you squeeze, and then totally relax and release. Few more times like this. And the breath doesn't have to be any one way here. You're just not holding your breath. That will create more tension that we don't want. One more time, shrug and squeeze. And release. And now take that arm, and I want you to brush down your arm. Almost like you're kind of trying to get all that tension out through your fingertips. Make sure you get the back of that arm, inside. And just stand for a second, close your eyes again. Notice if you feel a difference from one arm to another. And then let's switch. So now that opposite arm on the opposite shoulder, we shrug and squeeze, and then we release that tension. And again, shrug and release. Continue going like this, and there might be one side that's a little more tender, and that's okay, that's normal. We're not symmetrical beings. We never will be 100%. Squeeze, you can kind of move that arm up and down that upper trap a little bit. And then go ahead, let's brush that tension out. Coming from the neck down through the shoulder, into the fingertips. Just lightly brushing. And then again, bring your arms by your sides, close your eyes. See if both those arms feel a little more even now. Good. And now let's go back to that first hand on the opposite collarbone here. So we're gonna do a little bit of shoulder girdle movement, and we're using the collarbone kind of as our sensory point. So I want you to feel like that collarbone is moving forward into that hand as you reach forward through your arm and through the fingertips. Now pull the collarbone away from that hand. You'll feel a little squeeze in the shoulder blade as you break the elbow to extend back behind you. Bring the collarbone forward as you reach to the front of the room. You might feel a little stretch in the shoulder blade. Collarbone pulls away. You feel a little squeeze in the bottom of the shoulder blade now. And we reach. Again, forward. And we pull back and reach. So it's 2 more times. Forward. And we reach. One more. Clavicle moves forward. Pulls back, reach, 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 and rotate. And come back to center and switch. So again, we start to move that collarbone forward as we reach through the shoulder into the fingertips. Now pull that collarbone back, feel that little squeeze in the bottom of your shoulder blade as you rotate and reach. Collarbone moves forward, we reach, and it pulls back, rotate and open. Forward, reach through the bottom of the shoulder blade. Squeeze in the center of the shoulder blade as you rotate back. 2 more times, forward and back and forward. And we rotate back and relax. Whew. Feels kind of nice, doesn't it? And now from there, we're just gonna add a little bit of a quicker rotation. So let's bring those hands on your shoulders, soft knees, and keep your hips facing front as you rotate the ribs over top. Don't think of twisting here, because sometimes I feel like that cue promotes extension, which we don't want. Think of wrapping and rotating from the ribs. So as you go one side to another, the opposite rib is leading you there. And hopefully that kind of naturally kicks those obliques into play. Now we're going to start rotating from the trunk. Allow your hips to rotate. You'll notice your feet will lift a little bit as you complete that rotation. Now unwind, feet come down, hips come forward, trunk comes back to center. And now the trunk rotates, the hips move with it, the feet will lift a little as you go to the back. Now the feet uncoil forward, hips and trunk. Let's do that a few more times. And you can play with your speed here. It doesn't have to be quite as slow as what I'm doing. Just make sure you're breathing. One more. And center. Drop those arms, feet hip width apart. Sense your weight right over top of your ankles so you're not forward on the toes, not too far back on the heels. Take a deep breath in. Growing tall. Now exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest. Slowly start to round down, arms hanging, back rounded. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale to round it up. One more time, breathe in, shoulders roll back, chin lifts. Exhale, chin tucks towards the chest. As we round down, deep breath in. Exhale, slowly round it up. Feel like you're driving that tailbone down towards the floor as you feel your weight stay over the ankles. And relax. We got one more movement up top before we come down. Feet stay flat, knees are soft. We're gonna reach one arm up and over our heads into a little side bend here. Here's where you might really feel some differences from left to right. So as we hold this, try not to collapse over. Really think of reaching up and out. You can place that opposite arm on your rib cage if you'd like. And breathe here. See if you can get those intercostals to let go a little bit and allow the rib cage to expand, because without this rib cage being mobile, we're never going to get a true diaphragmatic breath here, no matter how much you're told to just simply breathe into your belly. It just doesn't quite work like that. And release that stretch. Woo. And we go the other way. So we reach up and over rather than just down to the side. Opposite arm can come on your rib cage and we breathe. Think of keeping your weight equal, not shifting off towards one leg or another. One more breath. Slowly come up out of that. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest. Slowly start to roll down. Your hands will come onto your mat, and then you're going to turn and face long ways. Now we're going to come into a little bit of a ball shape here. So it's like a child's pose, but we're on the elbows. You can simply rest your hips if you'd like, or you can keep the hips a little high and a little more active. It's up to you. Either way, we're going to round our back and feel like you're taking your rib cage up and away from your thighs. Now I want you to take 4 deep breaths here and see if you can sense expansion into your mid and upper back. You might feel this in your low back and hips as well. In through your nose, tongue to the roof of your mouth. Full exhale out like you're blowing through a straw. 2 more breaths. One more. Release out of that for a second. If you want to extend the arms forward, you absolutely can. And now let's come onto our hands and knees. We're going to do a little bit of thoracic mobility work here. You can always do this from your elbows if being in this wrist position is just not available to your body. But we're going to go ahead and thread the needle. So bring one arm through the opposite side. Take a full breath here. Slowly come up out of that stretch. Reach that same arm forward as you sit back into a child's pose. Take a full breath. Prop back up onto that arm. Hand comes behind the low back. We rotate up to the ceiling and breathe. And come back down to center, and we're gonna switch hands. So now that same arm, for me it's my right, is gonna do all of this free-floating movement. So I thread the needle and take a full breath. Slowly come out of that, reach that arm forward, sit back into a child's pose. Again, full breath. Come up out of that, same arm goes behind your low back, rotate up to the ceiling, and we breathe. Back to center. We're gonna go through that one more time on each side. Thread the needle. Full breath in and out. Come up, reach that arm forward, sit back in the hips, get a big stretch that shoulder and breathe. Come up, hand behind the low back, rotate up the ceiling, breath in and breath out. Back to center one more time. Thread the needle, opposite arm, breath in, breath out. Come up, reach the arm forward, hips back, and we breathe. One more time, hand behind the back, rotate up, and another breath. Exhale. Slowly back to center. Sit back into a child's pose. Straighten those arms ahead, but we're going to bend from your elbows. Bring your hands up onto your mid-back. Walk your elbows forward and take a few breaths here. Noticing a big stretch in the triceps. Maybe even a little different stretching sensation the side of your ribs or your upper mid-back. And slowly come up out of that. We got one more little active stretch here in our hands and knees position. So we're going to tuck the toes under and round the back, lifting your rib cage away from the floor and your spine up to the ceiling. Now, keeping your back rounded, you're going to straighten your knees right from this position. So straighten them up. Don't step your feet back behind you. So we're like in a very ugly downward dog position. Now, just take a few small steps forward through your feet until you feel like you can reach your heels down to the floor and really keep your ribs lifted so you're rounded. Shoulders melt away from your ears. And try to take 3 to 4 deep breaths here. Each exhale, you're trying to lift your ribcage and your abdominals, pull them in towards your center. One more breath. Slowly release your knees and your feet. Let the blood rush out of your head and kind of gently sway your shoulders. And now we're going to make our way onto our backs. So we're going to come all the way to the floor. Hands come onto our ribs. Feet are flat, knees are bent. This allows our back, our low back, to be nice and soft and relaxed. We're going to start with some breathing. So take a deep breath in. Full exhale out. As you inhale, fill your belly, then your chest with air. And then exhale, feel those ribs draw in and back towards your center. Take a little pause at the end of that breath. And again. Belly, then chest, exhale out. Pause. Full exhale. And pause. One more breath. And full exhale. Now pause. And keep that abdominal engagement. Lift up one foot at a time into tabletop. Knees a little closer to the chest. Reach up through both shoulders. And give me 4 breaths here. See if you can maintain that slight pause at the end of your exhale. And bring your knees into your chest. Gently rock side to side. Now we're going to do a little crunch work, but we're actually going to be focusing more on breathing into our back with it. So if you have a mat underneath you, which I hope you do, but you could also use a towel, you're going to have some space between the top of your head and the back of your mat, and you're going to pinch the mat between your fingers. So thumb is underneath, on top. Hard to tell that when I'm on my back. Fingers are under your mat towards the floor. Now, keeping your elbows parallel and up towards the ceiling, we're going to take a deep breath in. As you fully exhale, use the mat to kind of cradle your head, pull your elbows forward and down, and that's how you're going to crunch. So you shouldn't feel any pressure in your neck. Now take a full breath in here. Breathe back into your mat, full breath out. And again, full breath into your back. Full breath out. See if you can pull yourself up a little higher. Keep that tailbone tucked. 2 more. Last one. And slowly lower down, releasing that mat. And kind of rock your hips side to side. We're going to do this one more time. If you felt tension in your neck and shoulders with that, on this next one, try just using more of your arms to pull down and to lift the mat, which therefore lifts you, versus feeling like you have to lift from your neck still. Your head should feel very heavy on this mat. So get your arms ready. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as you lift up. Shoulder blades melt away from the ears. Feel your elbows pull down. Breath in. Exhale out. Inhale. One more. And slowly lower down and relax. Hands come by your side. Feet are on the mat, hip width apart, knees bent. We're gonna go into some bridging, focusing on articulation. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, feel weight through your heels as you slowly start to peel your back up 1 vertebrae at a time, lifting those hips towards the ceiling. Take a pause at the top and a full breath in. Exhale to roll it down. Rib cage melts to your spine. Feel like you're reaching out through the tops of your thighs and through your knees as the hips come down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under. Peel your back off the mat. Lift those hips 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale at the top. Exhale to roll down. Rib cage melts. Reaching out through the tops of thighs and knees. Adding on in this next one. Inhale. Exhale, tuck that tailbone, slowly peel it up. Make sure those feet are flat here. Don't let them roll out to the side. We want those knees to stay hip width apart. Now as you inhale, bring your arms up overhead, not rested on the floor, just reaching out right above the floor. Exhale, slowly roll down. Reach out through your fingertips as you reach through the knees like you're pulling yourself apart. Inhale all the way down, arms come back to your side. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, slowly lift one vertebrae at a time. Inhale your arms overhead, reaching out away from you. Exhale, slowly roll down, feel like you're gently tractioning yourself apart. Arms come back to your sides, take a full breath in. We have one more. Exhale to roll it up. And pause. Inhale, the arms overhead. Exhale. Pull it down through the ribs, reach. Lower the arms at your sides and relax. From here, we're going to roll right onto our side. Bottom arm is supporting the head. Knees are stacked right on top of one another. That top arm is going to reach forward here and then rotate up into the back. Try not to let your hips roll back with you. Keep them stacked. Take a full inhale. Big stretch in the pec. Exhale, pull yourself back to center through your rib cage. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open up into the back. Big stretch through your pec. Take an inhale into that upper chest wall. Now exhale, feel that rib cage start to rotate and pull you back to center. One more time. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly pull back to center. From this position, you're going to come right up into a seated position. Now, if this is not available to you, hip-wise, knee-wise, whatever, you can always just crisscross your legs. Otherwise, I'm going to stay with my left leg in external rotation. My right leg is an internal rotation. Arm closest to that back foot comes by your side, and the opposite arm comes up behind your head. So I'm in this big mermaid stretch here. Breathing into my rib cage. And feel like I'm translating my rib cage out and then lifting up. From here, we take a full breath in, try to reach a little longer. Now exhale, rotate that elbow down towards your knee. Inhale, reach up and out, translate side, then lift. Full exhale, crunch, elbow comes down towards the knees. Two more. One more time. Slowly come out of that, and we're going to go to the other side. So coming all the way back down again. Head is relaxing on your bottom arm. Knees are stacked, as well as the hips. We reach that top arm forward with an inhale. Exhale as you rotate up into the back. Get a big stretch to that pec, maybe even that spine. Take a deep breath into your upper chest wall. Exhale, pull yourself back to center from your rib cage. Inhale, reach. Exhale, up and away. Inhale. Exhale, center. One more time. Full breath in. Exhale, rib cage rotates you back. From here, we pop ourselves right up. Whatever position is best for your body. The arm closest to your back foot comes down to the floor, and that opposite arm comes behind your head. Stretching into that mermaid position, reaching the rib cage out Lifting up, take a full breath in. And now full exhale, dropping that elbow towards your knee. Inhale, up and out. Exhale, elbow to knee. One more time. And slowly coming up out of that. We're going to turn back onto our hands and knees. Coming up onto our feet with our hands on the floor, as flat as you can get them, and bending your knees. Lift your ribcage off your thighs. Weight is towards the heels, and take 3 deep breaths. Breathing into your back body again. One more big breath in. Now exhale, press through your heels. Keep the knees soft as you slowly round up, still driving that tailbone under so you're not getting into extension. Coming all the way up to standing, rolling the shoulders back a few times. And taking one final breath in. And exhale out. And we are done. I hope you guys feel a little bit more relaxed and connected to your bodies than when we started. And hopefully this carries with you throughout your day. Have a great one, and thanks for moving with me.